What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm going to talk about Sovereign. This is a film starring Nick Offerman, Jacob Tremblay, Dennis Quaid, and it's based on a true story about the thing that actually happened, an incident that actually happened with the shooting, and it sort of goes into these characters and learning a little bit more about them. And if you don't become incredibly interested conceptually in the sovereign citizen movement, I Googled it. I was at least like, what the fuck is this? What is this? I have to know. So it made me at least go, what is this? Not that I wanted to join it, but I did want to understand more about what is this thing that this whole movie is based on, because conceptually I did not understand what these people thought they could get away with, because they're so bold and so strong in their ideology. Offerman is part of this, his character is part of this, what's his name, Jeff or something like that. It was pretty simple and I couldn't remember it. He's part of this sovereign citizen movement, and they have these meetings and these online forums and podcasts, I guess you could say, or radio interviews or something. I don't know. They have a network, and feels like the kind of thing that just has like a Reddit forum, but no, they have a little bit more of an established movement than that. And these are people who don't recognize the government federally. They have very interesting, the film can't explain it all to you. The film tries to have it through dialogue, but it really just needed like somebody, we needed to open in a classroom where there was like a, sort of like that moment in The Big Short that Margot Robbie got. We needed something like that. We needed something where there was a kid in the classroom raised his hand and the teacher is like, yes, Billy? Uh, Mr. Clark, what's the sovereign citizen movement? And then just have that teacher explain for like 5 minutes and then cut to the movie and be like, oh, okay. Now I have a better understanding of all of the principles and everything of the sovereign citizen movement. Because for me, as somebody who is not insane, I felt like I was watching crazy people the whole movie, and I was like, this is really hard to get into, but I love Nick Offerman and Jacob Tremblay. Like, these are two of my favorite actors that I would sign up for all day, every day, especially Offerman. Like, I've watched so many films just because Nick Offerman's been in them. And like Hearts Beat Loud, that film he made a while back. Love that movie. So I like look for these little gems that Nick Offerman finds his way into. And this is like perfect casting for him because he gets to play sort of a woodsy type of person, which is very much his vibe. And he's sort of anti-government. It's a nice dramatic turn for him. I really enjoyed his performance. He's one of my favorite performances this year so far. And Tremblay does a nice job playing his son with a lot of different beats, trying to navigate and figure out, all the stuff that he's been taught his whole life about being a sovereign citizen, but also when he gets a glimpse of the way that other kids function, he's like, wait a minute, do I want that? There's that sort of like quizzical thing, like, do I really want to be a part of the sovereign citizen movement? And then there's the way that sort of life, the government sort of thrusts its way into their life that kind of just fucks everything up for everybody involved, for the people who sort of boldly just do their jobs, thinking that the sovereign citizen this should be easy. No, not really. Is it like full-on domestic terrorism? Nah, it's a gray area. I mean, these are people that mostly, if you just left them the fuck alone, would be fine. They're not planning to overthrow the government. There's not an active plan here if people left them alone. they just want to be left alone. Like, these are people who they get pulled into things because the government requires them to pay taxes or something, or in the case of Offerman's character, owes some money to the bank, but he doesn't recognize the bank because he's a sovereign citizen. So, and the bank is the thing. And he seems somewhat well studied on law and legal procedure, and he knows all of these little thing, like concepts that he uses to like navigate his way around them, but nobody really ever hears him out on anything because they always just go, well, this guy's crazy. But he has done his reading to try to understand and navigate. And it feels like one of those things where he feels smart about the thing that he is and knows. And if you listen to him talk long enough, you could be convinced of it. It does feel like one of those things where sometimes you hear people talk about the thing that they believe in, and you're like, I don't think I could listen to a flat earther convince me in 2025 that the earth is still flat. Like, that's not a real thing, because we can circumnavigate the globe, and you wouldn't be able to do that if it was flat. So even if you don't believe we've ever been to space, we have the ability to go around the globe and not fall off of it. So I don't know what the flat earth idea is anymore and why there's a movement for it. But I don't think anybody could ever convincingly talk about that. But if somebody was trying to talk about loopholes in the Constitution and how to use them to support the sovereign citizen movement and their interpretation of it, I mean, that's basically what the Supreme Court does, is interpret the Constitution as they see fit. So why couldn't someone else interpret the Constitution as they see fit? They just don't have necessarily the legal standing in which to do so, which ends up screwing them over in the end, because anybody can do that. You can sit down and read any sort of legal proceeding and then make a decision for yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean that your decision carries any weight, and that's where Offerman and Tremblay have a problem, is that while they can sound completely not crazy, if you actually give them the time of day and listen to what it is they have to say, they also have no power, no real power, not even on their own land. So they travel around. They also have a dog, Molly, was it its name? I think. And they go to these places where they speak. There's a small part here from Martha Plimpton. She doesn't really do much. So if you're coming here from Martha Plimpton, you must be a huge Martha Plimpton fan, because it's not a very big role. Dennis Quaid's role really isn't even that big. He plays sort of on the other side when they have a brush with the law. He's an officer that they come into contact with. But it is very much just, like, this film is like 75% Offerman and Tremblay. I mean, they're just on screen, feeding off of each other in these experiences, and talking about these ideas of sovereign citizenship and what it means, and talking to rooms of people and pushing. And it's funny that he's dealing with this thing with his bank, but he's also considered within the sovereign citizen community to be the expert in this thing, in handling wills and property and trusts and all that kind of thing. So no mention of him ever having like a legal degree, just really well read on the subject. And like Offerman often comes across, he comes across as being well read and intelligent in his role, and I guess you could say this is a little bit of Ron Swanson in there, but as Offerman has reminded us, when people on the right have tried to co-opt Ron Swanson as being the image of MAGA, that his character was a libertarian, not a Republican. So I don't know where politically these people land, because they don't seem to want to opt into anything. So they probably don't have a political lean or party, because that's their whole thing is, you can't have a party if you don't recognize the government, because then you have your own sort of thing in your sovereign citizen movement that's not reflective of the thing that you're rejecting, if that makes any sense. So I don't know that's really the thing here. This film is really entertaining and engaging. It's also, of course, scary at times, just because of the fact that this, on some level, is a true story, and tragic because of things that happen, and definitely sobering based on how it all ends. So, but I found this compelling, and I'm surprised this didn't get more attention. This one kind of got buried in the middle of the summer, but it's not really a summer movie. So it was mostly just like a day and date release that took forever to get like on a price point where I wanted to rent it. And I was like, I'm not spending $20 to rent Sovereign. Fuck you. Not doing that. So I'm finally getting it out there. I enjoyed this though, but my biases are that I usually enjoy Nick Offerman things. I've seen his stand-up comedy specials and stuff like that. Even though I'm not 100% sure he is actually a stand-up comedian, he does have them. And there's sort of those interesting experiences when you see somebody who you're not really sure is a stand-up comic, but you see them doing stand-up comedy, and you're like, I don't know that this works, but this is fun. This is interesting. He sings like songs and stuff, and it's quirky. And big Offerman fan. He's one of the reasons why I watch The Great North, even though it doesn't have audio description. If you watch it, if you stay up to date on it, I've been like, I'm watching it. Nick Offerman's the main voice. So, just a fan. So, this film does have audio description, which I thought was solid the whole movie, the whole way through. And there were times definitely where I think the director chooses to tell us or not tell us things just so that we can be kind of kept in the dark on certain things. Like he keeps getting pulled over and not being told why he's being pulled over. Like, are cops just like randomly running tags? I never understand why he's being pulled over. Like he gets pulled over like 3 times, I think, in this movie. And I never understand why. And the cops never say why. And it's so frustrating. And because of what happens to police officers in this, which it's not much of a spoiler because A, it's based on a true story, and B, the film opens sort of at the end and then flashes back to the beginning of like, how did we get here? So you find out that there are cops that die in this at the beginning of the film. So as it plays this sort of like frantic 911 audio, so because the film has this, I don't want to dive too much into blaming police officers, because I'm not blaming them for their death. I mean, they didn't deserve that. This is not one of those movies where I feel like, yeah, they got what they deserved. And there's just basic traffic stops, but I do also go, are we in a place now where nobody feels like saying, sir, I stopped you because you were going 85 and a 75. Oh, well, that makes sense. Thanks for, and then listen to Nick Offerman, I don't know, talk about how he doesn't recognize speed limits because he's a sovereign citizen. No, it's just, he just gets stopped and they're like, sir, can you get out of why did you pull me over? What was it, officer? And could you, blah, 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 blah. Like, what is it? Why is he pulled over? I really wanted to know. I was just like, what is he doing all the time to get pulled over? Anyway, is he just like swerving all the time? I guess it's also the blind aspect of it, right? I don't know. Is he driving with like a kangaroo on top of his vehicle? What is the thing here? So I didn't know. That was kind of frustrating, that the film doesn't really explore. The audio description doesn't really have answers to, but it's such like an an odd crux in the film that you feel like, I need to know the answer to this question. Yeah, so Sovereign, uh, one of the better movies this year. I don't think it's the best. It's not the best movie I've seen this year, but there's a chance that it could be in my top 25. We'll see how the year goes, and how I remember films by the end of the year. And I maybe, I'm closing in on 300 films as I review this, already seen in 2025. That includes like theatrical and streaming exclusives, so not all theatrical titles. But yeah, so based on that, I think it's in like the top 25 of 300. But all of the Oscar baity big movie releases are about to come out in like last 3 months of the year, which could shove some of the films out of the top 25 that are there. But I enjoyed this, and was captivated enough by the story. So I'm going to give Sovereign an 8.3 out of 10. I think you should check it out. It'll definitely make you Google what is Sovereign Citizen and learn a little bit more about it. So I don't think it will recruit anybody into it, but it is nothing if not a conversation starter. It's the film equivalent of a coffee table book, where you look at it and you go, oh, the bridges of Madison County, the actual bridges of Madison County, not the fictionalization, but actual pictures of bridges in Madison County. That makes me want to look up more and possibly read the book and then watch the movie and then go to see the stage musical. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the other side.